Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. All right. So, what we've got here tonight is a page from the Mercenary Guild. This is page 20. This is the book that I've been coloring for Shattermare Comics for about a year and a half now or so, or a little over a year. Hello. All right. So I think I've done all the color selection that I need on this. I'm just going to give it a quick once over before we jump in. But I think we're good for the most part. And just jump right into the rendering. Let's see. Ooh, I'm tired. I need to drink more coffee. Yeah, I think everything looks good. You just jump on in. I think it'd be easier to just select everything and deselect the ground, really. This is taking place in an alleyway between buildings, and the sun's up and shining down, so pretty much everything's going to be lit as far as the street goes. Go in and lighten up some of those walls a little bit. You have these bottom two panels that don't belong in shadow. Whoop, that though. Oh wow, what's that all about? Oh, there's a silhouette missing from one of the characters. That's annoying. Just gotta go ahead and manually select everything. Really? What's it doing? What is going on? Well, okay. We're good now. It's gone. Perfect. Alright, I think we're just gonna jump right in and just start removing some of the shadows from some of these background pieces. Just a little bit. I think that's kind of it for all the background stuff. This one's a little closer, so maybe we'll do a little something more on it. On my computer, you are so quiet. I think I need new speakers. Well, yeah, I don't know if that's you or me. Don't like that. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it like that for now. Now with these guys, since they're so small, I think I'm going to just go in and just, instead of using a soft round brush to try and get dimension and stuff, I think we're just going to come in and just cut away where most of that is, where the light would hit on them. And then maybe I'll do just a little bit of blending just to soften some of it up. Let me see if I can try and move the speaker a little bit closer. Let's see if that helps with the sound. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. How's that? Is that too loud, or where are we at on this? Here, we'll move it to right here. That should be pretty loud, so it might be your speakers. That's loud enough for you. Okay, good. You hope it isn't loud for everyone else. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Feel free to speak up, folks, and let me know if it's coming across too loud. Yeah, like I said, since they're so small, I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. As far as just quickly cutting in some shadows using a pen. There's not a lot of form to see since they're so small. And if I was to go in here up real close and start rendering like that, it would just be a waste of time. It would all get lost. I think that works. Get rid of that shadow that was over those. Okay. And I don't think we're going to get through all of this tonight just because there's a bunch of characters. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus another 6, plus 2 more. So yeah, it's 14 characters on this one page. So it's a lot to render. But this is cool. We have the our heroes of the Mercenary Guild here. You have this guy here who is Bane. He's kind of like your fighter archetype. And then you have this guy back here, Zeth. He's your magic user. Then the wolf guy here is Malchus, and he's your rogue type fighter. And they're about to have a showdown with a group of some nasty pirates. And I will say, Malchus, the wolf guy, I usually render him last just because he is involved. We're a little more involved than the other guys with all the fur and stuff, but we'll see how it goes. Oop. I'm just going in right now and just moving the shadow with a soft round brush. And I'm going pretty chunky, just blocking it out. And then I will come through and blend it all. That way we get some smoother transitions between everything. That's typically the first step here. And like I said, it just looks all chunky and blocky, but then I'll come in with my blender. We'll start to blend a lot of those transition lines. Revealing a lot of that form. And this technique that I'm doing here is very much just like you would do with traditional like pencil and paper, just using that blender that you would use to go in and soften edges and stuff like that. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Now those hard shapes that I had, they're now all soft round shapes. I'll come back in. So when you blend, sometimes things tend to get a little muddy. I'm just coming back in with that transparency and just making sure to hit some of those spots that I want to pop a little better, just to make sure that some of those highlights stand out. We'll do the same with the shadows as well. Just to make sure we don't lose the opposite side of all those highlights. Drop a little running shadow around his eye patch, conch of the ear. Top layer. So this is a layer that's above everything else, above all the inks and everything. So what I mean by it's above the inks means that I can literally draw over anything. Most things take place under the inks because you don't want to erase the inks or draw over the inks. But on this very top layer, I'm going to grab that white, and if you see his eye here, there's a little white in the eye. I'll just kind of drop that in. And then once we're done rendering all this, I'll go back and do a highlights layer, and that'll definitely come in and add even more dimensionality to like the top of his head or the top of the nose, that kind of thing. The light is above them. I really want all of the shadow up on his shoulders removed. And as it comes down to his chest, we'll fade that back into a darkness. Well, folks, if you're in the chat, don't be shy. Say hi. Got a question about comic books or art in general, or you just talk about life. I don't care. Just don't be shy. I'm glad you're here. Glad you stopped by. We're gonna go in and move that shadow top of the shoulders, letting that gradient come down to show that roundness. You need someone to talk to. Me too. Me too. Get this little patch of tricep back there. Some of this top left of the bicep. I think his arm is cocked out a little bit. So we'll get some of this here towards the elbow, towards the forearm. We'll come back in. We'll just lightly blend away some of those harsher outer edges. Now we're getting some form and dimensionality going here. Let's go ahead and hop into the metal here of his like a shoulder pauldron. With this, with metal, I typically like to come in and hit all of the edges. Little rivets. And I'll come up to the airbrush tool. Just kind of come in and cut in some highlights, some shine. And since it's that's typically how I go in and just do like a light, quick metal rendering. Just adds a little bit of reflectivity or reflectiveness or whatever. Let you know that it's metal. Just hitting some of the belt buckle here. Where some of that light might hit. Tell you what, my flatter must have been in a hurry doing these. I've had to go in and make a bunch of little tiny corrections. I've used the same flatter for pretty much this whole project, except for maybe the first 5 pages. He's been great. Shout out to Dutch, Carl Dutchins. Dude's great. But you kind of dropped the ball here and there on this one, and I had to go in and fix some stuff already, and then I'm adjusting things now as we're going. There we go. Oh. Okay, hit that up there. Come in, work our way to each of these fingers here. I'll just blend some of it down. Okay. We'll get this little bit of metal here. Super quiet. Didn't seem like anyone stopping by today. Maybe switching to Thursdays wasn't a good call. Well, I'm glad you're still here. Thanks for always being here. Thanks for being the moderator. That's Bane for the most part. I usually go in and the red undershirt that he wears, I usually give that some texture. But textures and highlights and effects, those are usually the last things that I really go in and do. Let's go ahead and move on to Zeth. I gotta go in and mess with the pressure sensitivity of my pens. I had to redo all of my settings for Clip Studio since I got a new computer and had to reinstall, and I didn't save my profile. I'm not even 100% sure there's a way to save your profile, I would imagine, but that's on me. I failed. Yeah, I need to look into that. That, for the most part, is his cloak. We'll go in and start trying to render on this little tiny face here. Since he's supposed to be, in the shadow under his cloak, I'm really not going to do a whole lot. We get the tip of his nose here, and then bottom lip, and then maybe the chin a little bit. But that's pretty much all I'm going to do. And even then, I think that's still a little too much. I think I'm going to tamp it down just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I think I like that better. Looks like he's got. How does he? That's weird. Is that what we have? Let me. Yeah. Huh. Sorry, that thumb just looked a little funky there for me for a sec. Is it 8:17? Wow. At least time's going by pretty quick. His stars here are some sort of arcanic symbol showing he's a mage or something like that. I don't remember for sure. There we go. I think that's good. Rinse and repeat. all these next guys. It just looks overwhelming just looking at this page with like these 6 dudes and knowing that I've got to like render all of it. Sometimes I'll wait. I'll move down to something that's a little more fun. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Now, an alternate way of doing these shapes, and that I actually really recommend to people that are new to coloring, is rather than doing what I did in the first one, where I just come in and I select and then block in everything. Whoop. Like coming in, blocking in that shape, blocking in that shape, blocking those ends. Rather than doing that, sometimes I'll do it a different way, and I think it's good for new colors as well. As I will go, okay, this is a round shape, like a 3/4 sphere. So I'll use my selection tool to select that. Then I'll come in with the soft round brush. And do it that way. Then I'll come in, go to the eyebrow and go, okay, I've got some cylinder shapes here. So that's the whole eyebrow. I'll come in and do that. Because you should be breaking down everything to its base components when you're rendering and you're looking at everything. So this is a good way of ensuring that you're doing that. And it also helps reinforce and ingrain these shapes in your head, because this is really how I see things when I'm zipping through and blocking in everything. I'm really looking at them just like this. So you have that 3/4 circle, you have some cylinders there, and then the cheeks. They're kind of like a jacked up circle, like a section of a circle. With the highest point being right here. We'll block out that same shape over on this side. And the nose, you have the front bit of the nose, that's just a circle. Like I said, breaking it all down into its base shapes. If you see the base shapes, then you can find the form and you can refine the form. Then the top of the nose, it's just basically a cylinder. So if I zoom all the way out here, I haven't gone in and blended those shapes together yet, but you can see how that form is starting to take shape. Just doing it in a different way. And then the top lip, I usually divide it right here at the fuller. And usually the highest point, or the brightest, is going to be about right here, because your nose is going to cover about this spot in here, and then it flattens out and goes downward. So usually your brightest spot on the fuller is about right there. Oh, totally looks funny right now. Totally. But after this little bit here, I'm going to go in and blend it, and you're going to see it all come together, and it'll all make sense. That's right. Trust the process. So it looks weird up close, but you can see as I'm zooming out, you see the forms a little bit better. And now we're going to come in and we're going to blend all these together. So the blending tool, it takes the starting point and drags that over to where you let it go. So if I start at a dark spot like right here, and I blend it up, you'll see that it'll blend a big dark streak like that. And if I go the opposite way, I start somewhere light, blend it down dark, it'll bring that down into it. So that's how the blending tool really works. That's why I usually tell you to work in small circular patterns, because then it just kind of blends them all together. But that's how things can also get muddied, which is why I was saying before, I like to come in here afterwards and just clean it up a little bit, go back through and make sure that the points that I want to be high points are staying high points. This is how you take those fundamentals of drawing, those really basic things. Everyone goes through it in your like very first art class of, this is how you draw a circle and make it a sphere, and this is a cube, and how you light all these, like add shadow by making some sides darker. I'm taking all that basic fundamental stuff and just putting it to practical use. I just happen to be a colorist, so my use case is the same, but uh, with color. That's really what it is. But as you can see, that already looks way less weird. We've taken all those sharp edges out of everything, softened it all up. Go ahead and add some shadow under the nose. Down that little crease line there. Come up under that lip just a little bit more, I think. Define that chin. There we go. So the end result is the same, but it gives you the opportunity to break it down into those simpler pieces. And there we go. That's rendering the head. I noticed this the whole time. It was driving me crazy. It's bugging the crap out of me. All right, gang, I'm going to take a short 5 minutes break here, and we will be right back, and we'll continue moving forward with coloring this. Be back in a moment. Alrighty, I'm back. And let's keep plugging away. Oop, I accidentally got rid of my shadow color. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Welcome back to you too, Ashley. Damn it, I spilled my coffee. There we go. And the same shape technique that I employed on the face, you put that everywhere. So if you look at the shoulder, you have three muscle groups. You have the deltoid, which is three muscle groups, which is one here. Then you have another one here. And then you have another muscle here. And those are the three muscle groups for the deltoids of the shoulder. And you can go in and you can do the same thing that I did before, where you break them each up and you find that round shape in each of them. And you can break it apart that way. Typically, I don't do that. I'll just take the deltoid as one large group here. That's where I'll go in and just do it like this. So even though there are three muscle groups, it's not so pronounced unless you're talking about like the Hulk, some of these huge muscles. There's three muscle groups and there's a little bit of definition, but they're shallow enough to where the light's going to be not as recessed. my back little tricep muscle there. Bicep. So even if you want to be a colorist and you want to color and do all the color rendering, that's great, but you still do have to understand shape and form, and it helps to understand what muscles are where on the body so you know what it's supposed to look like. So it's just as important as a colorist as it is for a penciler or an inker to know basic anatomy. That way you know how everything relates to everything else around it. Just like that, like how your elbow. So if I go like this, I don't know how well you can see, but you can see the forearm muscle here, but you can still see that elbow and how the light catches that elbow. Or in this instance, I have a different lighting than what's in there. You can see the shadow coming in right here. And that's exactly what we did right here on that elbow. And I'm just going through blocking and blending. over and get his other arm here. Not where I want to be. All right. What we have his strap and his sword and his padded armor or whatever that is. And that's pretty quick and simple. Since it's all padded up, there's no real definition on the pecs or anything like that. So just look at the whole shape, almost like a big cylinder, and the light is hitting up back here because it's coming down from the top, hitting back here first, and then bridging over the rest. Drop a little shadow under where his head would be. And then you have the blades of his dagger and his sword. It was weird. There we go. Just quick, kind of down and dirty, but I think they look metallic and gets the point across. $9 o'clock, so we get about a half hour. Okay. Where are we at? I think we'll do Zeth next in the lower right. Then we'll probably be wrapped up at that point. The rest of this whole centerpiece with these 6 other dudes, that's going to take me some time. So you likely won't. You'll have to see the book. I'll finish this between now and next week. Next week, I'm going to be live streaming the next page, which is page 21, where we have I'll just show you. It's a standoff between the pirate leader and Zeth. So we'll definitely be able to render this in far less than 2 hours. Way less than 2 hours. This will probably only take me an hour, but maybe a little longer, but we'll see. But it's going to be a full splash page, so that'll be cool. We'll do this one next week. And then after that, maybe we'll jump into some Hellstone stuff. That one's coming along real well. Maybe I'll jump in and show you some sneak peeks. let's see here. I have this other project I'm working on. It's a remake of The Dark Knight 3 by Frank Miller. But this is a parody remake. But I'm working with some great people on this. I can show you some of the pages from that. That's page 1. And then they go into the Bat Cave and security alarms are going off, so everything's covered in red. So that's page 5. I think that looks pretty cool. It's real contrasty. It's real neat. And then I did another splash page on this. I really like this one. I love how this one came out. It's really cool. But I'm having a lot of fun on this project here, working with Omak Vera and Dustin Tyree. We're kicking some ass on this. It was originally supposed to be like, 3-4 pages. It's turned into like 8 or 9 pages. We'll see. But we're having a lot of fun working together, and it's going really good. I really like Dustin's inking style. It's very clean. He's a tattoo artist by trade, and that really comes through in his inking style. With everything being as crisp as it is. And then my comic book that I'm working on, I'm the writer, the creator, the colorist. I'm doing everything on it except the pencil and inks. Epilose Paul is the guy I've commissioned to do the inks. But this is the main character. Her name is Sam. She's the protagonist of the story. And then, what page can I show you? You may have seen because I think I live streamed some of this. This is page 1. I think I live streamed some of this. But this is really cool. This is a fight between Michael and Lucifer, telling the origin story in this book of how the Hellstones came to be, what their significance is, and what their powers are, and all of that stuff. And yes, Ashley, I'm also restocking Mason's Marvelous Mind. I have sold out of all copies, and I should have new copies in, I think, tomorrow. So that'll be good. And I think I'll show you one more page. Yeah, this is the next page for my comic book, Hellstones. It's page 2. So we see that the Hellstones are created because when Lucifer was cast out of heaven, Michael cut Lucifer's wings off, and his wings fell out of the heavens and down to earth, where they slowly decayed and fossilized and became these Hellstones. And these Hellstones became magical and imbued their holders with different powers. And some of the people that have had them over the years have been historical figures like Zeus, Genghis Khan, Cleopatra, Napoleon, Joan of Arc, those kinds of things. Then we have like a circus strongman and a magician. stuff like that. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Um, it's been a blast. It's going to be a total of 8 pages. So it's not going to be a full like 20 or 25 pages. This is just going to be a prologue story. It's book 0. It's not even book 1. Just to tell the backstory of the Hellstones, why they're significant, what they do, and all that, and just set up the actual main story. My goal is to actually end up pitching this to a publisher, see if anyone has an interest in picking it up. I have the entire story written out over 12 comic books. So I have it all written out, but I'm only going through the process of putting this book 0, these 8 pages, into production just as an example of the work and the story. But like I said, Epilo, this guy that I'm working with, he's fantastic. Let's see what. I'll show you. I'll show you one more page. So this is the inks. I haven't colored this clearly, but this is Sam taking a step outside, and she's on her balcony and starting to remember and reflect about her childhood and when she was given the Hellstone. So we have a younger Sam depicted here with her mentor. It's not her father, but it's a guy that kind of took her in when she was younger and showed her the ropes and all that stuff. But it was really cool. Epilogue, like I said, like these inks are great. It's just so much fun to work with this guy and work on, clean inks. But anyhow, I derailed there for a little bit, but I just wanted to show you guys some of that stuff. Let us go ahead and let's jump into rendering this. This one will be interesting because he's emitting this aura and glow of his power. So the lighting on this is going to be kind of everywhere. I think for the most part, I'm going to render him initially the same way with that same top-down kind of light, just as a starting point. This one, this one should go by pretty quick. And then his cloak as well. I usually go in and add quite a bit of texture to his cloak as well, just to make it look like it's thicker and maybe a little woven and as far as texture goes. Pain. One that cut away very cleanly. The pressure sensitivity is off my pen here, and I'm having some struggles. There we go. makes it hard to, because I mean his eyes are glowing with magic. They're emitting light, but the whole top of his hat is inked in shadow. So I gotta just kind of do some non-realistic stuff just to show a little dimension in his face. Not much, but it's a little bit of dimension. I don't know. Nope. I shouldn't have done that. That made him look weird. Whoa. What just happened? Bizarre. I must have clicked on some sort of side menu that I wasn't aware of. Ooh, freaky. Gave me a panic attack there for a minute. Right? I was totally getting crazy. Did I get that all? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what'll be cool when since we're running out of time, I want to show you something neat. So when I go to do the magic on this, I'll end up using something like this. Of course, it'll likely look better than that, but just to show you how that effect will end up looking. It'll be it'll be pretty sweet. But it'll end up looking pretty cool on that panel. So yeah, we made it through quite a bit. I have those 6 guys to do in the middle of the page. I've got Malchus to do on that top panel, and then drop in some highlights and some textures, and that's really about it. But yeah, took a little bit of time talking about the importance of form and how that applies to rendering in color and different ways you can achieve that, which is cool. It was a lot of fun. Well, uh, let's see. It is 9:25. Cool. Well, I think we're close enough to where we can go ahead and wrap this up. Um, we'll just call it here. Call it done for the night. Next week we're gonna do the next page in this. Um, Once that's done, we're gonna go back to doing my book Hellstones on the live streams, and then yeah, copies of Mason's Marvelous Mind. I should have those within the next couple of days, so that I'll have extra copies of those if you want them. Just let me know. Reach out to me. As always, if you have any questions or want to see anything in particular, whether it be rendering of a specific character or a rendering technique, reach out to me. Let me know. I'm happy to do so for you. And yeah, take care. Have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.